Chers auditeurs,
Dear listeners,
bonjour.
welcome to Comdarchipodcast Season 5.
Saison 5, dans le monde fascinant des architectes.
And in the architectural projects.
Je suis Anne-Charlotte Deponte, passionnée d'architecture et docteur des universités en histoire de l'archi.
I am one of the spokespersons of Anne-Charlotte, who is a PhD in architecture history.
Merci.
Thank you
D'être avec moi aujourd'hui.
to be with us today.
Et
And
maintenant,
now,
lundi en français, place au talent.
and Wednesday, let's talk projects. In English, of course.
Bienvenue dans Comdarchi.
Dear listeners, good morning. This is Esther on behalf of Anne-Charlotte. It's good to meet you again with a text about Michelle Auboiron, painter. Michelle Auboiron was born in Courbevoie in 1943. She graduated from the Arts Appliqués du Perret, 1965, and the École Boulle, 1967. As a child, she wanted to draw all the time instead of wasting time at school. She was even prepared to do sewing in order to get 10 hours of drawing lessons at the Lycée Technique, and was so gifted that one of her astonished teachers made her take part in 2 Salons d'automne in Paris at the ages of 15 and 16. Michelle Auboiron has always loved the odd one out. After graduating from the École des Arts Appliqués with a degree in haute couture, she went on to paint extensively, attending the workshop of Pichard, the famous comic book artist, Paulette, who was convincing in the art of showing the essential. Framing, the first gesture. She has never forgotten. When she joined the École Boulle in 1966, diagonally across a curriculum that belonged to her alone, there were 2 girls among 600 boys. She already knew she was an outdoor woman, but now she's trying her hand at interior design. Gifted at making beautiful things out of almost nothing, the graduate will be well nourished by decoration for a few summers. But the obvious is definitely not her cup of tea. In the 80s, she experimented with a variety of interior designs and family portraits. She created a hyper-realist sculpture for the Centre Pompidou, painted trails in her studio, storyboard series, 50 front pages of the newspaper Libération, and turned everyday objects into miniature architectures, such as a Henri II sideboard transformed into a New York building, or a La Voix de son Maître electrophone into a crystal palace. In 1987, she was angry and decided once and for all to work outside of the institutional circuits that create overweight. She got behind the wheel of an advertising truck and drove around Paris, painting, in primary colors and in 4x3 meters format, the monuments of pomp and circumstance, including the Grand Palais, where the FIAC Contemporary Art Fair struts its stuff. Michelle makes progress. The Auboiron method was born, to capture the urban landscape through itinerant work and to obey certain constraints in order to transform the moment into a performance. 1 canvas a day. In 1989, an even more personal atmosphere took shape in a series depicting hotel rooms in black and white on wallpaper. Empty, characterless places, expressing a strange relationship between inside and outside. We're almost there. In 1991, let's go on a world tour. New York from its heights, 30 paintings, 4x3 meters in 15 days. Paris, its Museum of Paleontology and its fabulous Diplonosaurus, 25 meters long in 42 paintings, 1.5 by 1.5 meters. Its opera, 110 paintings. Its financial district of La Défense, 40 paintings. Its bridges, 54 paintings. The bridges again, of New York, of San Francisco, 25 paintings. The old motels of Las Vegas, 22 paintings. Colorado, 32 paintings. The Paris-Dakar, 16 paintings in 16 days. Southern Morocco, 21 paintings. Corsica, its trees and rocks, 59 paintings. Havana, 42 paintings. Shanghai, 38 paintings. Hong Kong, 26 paintings. Versailles, 45 paintings. Chicago, 30 paintings. Cambodia with the temples of Angkor, 9 paintings. Then, New York again in autumn 2022, 8 paintings. In 1992, she met Charles Guy, architect and photographer, for simplicity's sake, with whom she shared her freedom and finally married in 2017. From 2001 to the present day, she travels the world with him, building her canvases, her own work like an architect, while Charles films and photographs her and pursues his own artistic career as a photographer. She puts herself in danger, paints in discomfort, in the midst of noise, crowds, traffic, heat waves, and always in a time constraint. One day, one canvas. Every day, recreating the itinerant studio, transporting canvases, paints and equipment, repositioning stretches, stapling canvas. A cumbersome protocol that's part of the creative process. As a painter of cities, she erases all characters from her work. All life is behind these crazy facades with their thousands of anonymous windows. The realistic, yet unreal atmosphere of her canvases seems to hold accountable the builders of these megacities. In a world that condemns any physical investment in the artistic gesture, she has the audacity to claim the right to wield brushes, to represent and bear witness to the monstrous transformation of our crazy planet's shop windows, questioning our memories and the little humanity we have left. In the Auboiron world, if the landscape isn't urban, it's built by time and erosion. Always the structure, the bone structure, sometimes the skeleton. With hundreds of canvases, dozens of exhibitions, she has built her own route, her own space. The Auboiron World Tour continues. Dear listeners, thank you for tuning in. Let's meet again next week for a new comdarchi in English. And until then, take care of yourselves. Goodbye.
Thank you for listening. Thanks to Julien Rebours, sound engineer, who is collaborating with us today. Don't forget to tune in to our previews on Instagram at comdarchipodcast. If you enjoy this podcast, don't hesitate to promote it by giving it 5 stars and a little comment on Apple Podcast or on your favorite podcast platform. And above all, subscribe to listen to all of our episodes for free. See you soon, and until then, take care of yourself.